Hello friends, today I want to talk about something really important that you might not be aware of. Have you ever wondered if the foods you eat every day could be affecting your bone health? Especially after the age of 65, our bodies need extra care, and our eating habits are no exception. You might not realize it, but there are certain common foods we eat regularly that can quietly weaken our bones over time. So today, I want to walk you through 6 everyday foods that we should consider limiting in order to protect our bones and joints as we age. If you've ever experienced bone or joint issues, don't hesitate to comment 1 below this video and share your story. And if you haven't, feel free to comment 0 so I can learn more about where you're at. Now let's start it. 1. Salty foods. Processed foods. You might not realize it, but familiar foods like instant noodles, fried chicken, and processed meals can seriously harm your bone health, especially after age 65. We often eat these foods because they're convenient and tasty, but few people are aware that they contain a high amount of salt. Salt is a silent culprit that gradually weakens your bones. When your body consumes too much salt, your bones start facing serious issues, often without obvious signs at first. Too much salt in the diet causes your body to flush out calcium through urine. That means there's less calcium available to keep your bones strong. When the body is low on calcium, it pulls it from the bones to maintain other vital functions. This weakens the bones and makes them more prone to fractures. One of the leading causes of osteoporosis, especially as we age, is calcium deficiency. And the older we get, the less efficient our bodies become at absorbing calcium, making the deficiency even worse. At the same time, excess salt in the diet quietly increases the risk of bone damage. Another issue caused by salt is high blood pressure. When you eat salty foods, your body retains water, which increases your blood volume and raises your blood pressure. High blood pressure doesn't just put a strain on your heart, it also limits the flow of nutrients to your bones. When blood circulation is poor, bones don't get the nourishment they need to stay strong and rebuild properly. This increases the risk of joint pain, osteoporosis, and bone fractures, especially in older adults. I have a friend named John, 72 years old. He loved eating instant noodles and processed foods because he was always busy and didn't have time to cook. After a while, John started experiencing pain in his knees and lower back. When he finally visited a doctor, they found that one of the major causes of his bone problems was the high amount of salt in his diet. With guidance from his doctor, John changed his eating habits and cut back on salty processed foods. He began cooking simple meals at home instead. In just a short time, he started to feel better. His joint pain eased and his overall mood improved. So if you're experiencing something similar, what can you do to protect your bones? The answer is simple. Reduce the amount of salt in your diet. Try replacing processed meals with home-cooked dishes where you can control the ingredients. Use natural flavorings like garlic, onions, pepper, and herbs instead of salt to enhance taste while protecting your bones. Also, make sure to get enough calcium and vitamin D from foods like milk, dairy products, salmon, almonds, and leafy greens to help your bones stay strong. Another important step is to check food labels before buying processed products. Pay attention to the sodium content and try to choose low sodium or salt-free options whenever possible. Remember, salt doesn't only come from the shaker, it's hidden in many of the packaged foods we eat daily. Instead of continuing to eat salty processed foods, start making small changes in your diet. Try replacing just 1 meal a week with a home-cooked dish and see how you feel. You might notice your body feeling healthier, your joints less achy, and your energy returning during daily activities. Start today and take action to protect your bones and maintain a healthy, active lifestyle. Don't wait. Share this video with your friends and loved ones so they too can learn how to protect their bone health. 2. Sugar, sweet foods. Most of us enjoy sweet treats. Whether it's candy, chocolate, or a fizzy soda, these indulgences are often part of celebrations or little pick-me-ups when we need a moment of joy. But what many people don't realize is that sugar is one of the silent culprits behind weakening bones, especially after the age of 65. You might already know that too much sugar can affect your teeth, weight, or blood sugar levels, but it also directly impacts your bone health. When you consume too much sugar, your body's ability to absorb calcium is disrupted. That means your bones aren't getting the calcium they need to stay strong. On top of that, sugar increases the level of acidity in your body. And when the body becomes too acidic, it starts pulling calcium from the bones to neutralize that acid, further weakening your skeletal system. You might wonder how sugar and acidity are connected. When you eat sweet foods, your body enters a state of higher acidity. To maintain a balanced pH level, it uses calcium, often from your bones, to bring things back into balance. That's why people who eat a lot of sugar are at higher risk for losing calcium and developing osteoporosis or suffering fractures from minor accidents. Let me share a real-life example. My friend James, age 68, had a serious sweet tooth. He ate candy almost every day. After a while, he started experiencing joint pain, which only got worse over time. A visit to the doctor revealed that he was at high risk for osteoporosis, and his sugar-heavy diet was part of the problem. James decided to cut back on sugar and started replacing his usual sweets with fresh fruits, unsweetened yogurt, and whole grains. Within a few weeks, he felt healthier and his joint pain eased significantly. Now, James is fully aware that reducing sugar isn't just good for his bones, it's helping him stay healthy overall. So what can you do to protect your bones and reduce the effects of sugar on your body? The answer is simple. Cut back on sugar. Instead of candy, pastries, or sugary drinks, opt for fresh fruit or plain yogurt for that natural sweetness without the health risks. Also, make sure to get enough calcium and vitamin D by including foods like dairy, salmon, almonds, and leafy greens in your diet. You can also switch out sugary drinks for water, fresh fruit juice without added sugar, or herbal teas. If you're craving something sweet, try dried fruit or a little bit of honey. You can satisfy your cravings without putting your bones at risk. Start making small changes today. Reducing sugar in your diet can have a big impact on your overall health and help keep your bones strong for years to come. Don't wait until bone problems show up. Take action now and invest in your bone health for the future. 3. Caffeine, coffee, and caffeinated beverages. Most of us have a habit of starting the day with a cup of coffee to feel more alert, or sipping tea throughout the day to relax. These beverages are incredibly common and, for many people, a daily ritual that feels almost essential. However, few realize that the caffeine found in these drinks can have a serious impact on bone health, especially as we age past 65. Caffeine, whether it comes from coffee, tea, or other caffeinated beverages, can directly affect your bones. Our bodies need a steady supply of calcium to keep bones strong. But when you consume too much caffeine, your body starts to lose calcium through urine. In other words, instead of retaining calcium to nourish your bones, your body is flushing it out. Over time, drinking too many caffeinated drinks can lead to lower calcium levels in the body, making bones weaker and more prone to fractures. Studies have shown that high caffeine intake can reduce bone mineral density, leading to a loss of bone strength and increasing the risk of osteoporosis. If you drink several cups of coffee a day without getting enough calcium, that risk goes up significantly. In addition, caffeine may interfere with your body's ability to absorb vitamin D, which is essential for calcium absorption, further weakening your bones. I have a friend named Susan, age 70, who used to drink 5 to 6 cups of coffee a day to stay alert for work. Recently, she started experiencing joint pain, and her doctor diagnosed early signs of osteoporosis. Her doctor advised her to cut down on coffee and increase her calcium intake. She made some changes, cutting back to just 1 cup of coffee in the morning and adding more milk and green vegetables to her diet. After a few weeks, her joint pain eased and she started to feel stronger and healthier. So, what can you do to protect your bones while still enjoying your favorite beverages like coffee or tea? First, try to reduce the amount of caffeine you consume each day. Instead of multiple cups of coffee, try switching to herbal teas or plain water to limit your caffeine intake. If you can't give up coffee entirely, keep it to a moderate amount, maybe just 1 cup in the morning. In addition, make sure to include calcium and vitamin D in your diet. You can do this by drinking milk, eating yogurt, adding nuts, fish, and leafy green vegetables like spinach to your meals. Don't forget that gentle exercises like walking or yoga can also help strengthen your bones and keep them flexible and resilient. Start making small changes today. You don't have to give up coffee altogether, but reducing your caffeine intake and adding more bone-friendly foods can go a long way in keeping your bones healthy. If you've made changes to your coffee habits or have any questions, feel free to comment below and share your experience with others. 4. Alcohol. You've probably enjoyed a glass of wine with dinner or raised a toast with a beer during a family gathering or celebration. Alcohol is often part of special occasions and, for some, even a daily routine. But what many people don't realize is that alcohol can seriously impact bone health, especially after age 65. As we age, our bodies don't recover as easily as they used to, and habits like regular alcohol consumption can increase the risk of osteoporosis and other bone-related issues. Alcohol affects our bones in several important ways. One of the most significant is that it interferes with the body's ability to absorb calcium and vitamin D, two essential nutrients for maintaining strong bones. When you drink heavily, your body can't absorb these nutrients efficiently, leaving your bones vulnerable and weak. Additionally, alcohol slows down the bone remodeling process, reducing bone density over time and making bones more brittle and prone to fractures. Excessive alcohol consumption can also lead to hormonal imbalances, especially in hormones like estrogen and testosterone, both of which are crucial for preserving bone mass. When these hormones are out of balance, the risk of bone loss increases, especially for older adults. I have a friend named David, who's 75. He had a long-standing habit of drinking a few beers a day and sometimes a glass of wine with dinner. He loved catching up with friends over drinks. But recently, he started experiencing joint pain and found it harder to move around comfortably. When he saw a doctor, he learned that his osteoporosis was progressing rapidly and that his daily drinking was one of the key contributors. David made a decision to cut back. He swapped his drinks for fresh juices and water, and within a few months, the joint pain eased significantly and he felt much stronger. So, what can you do to protect your bones while still enjoying social moments and special occasions? First, it's important to limit your alcohol intake. You don't have to give it up completely, but reducing the amount can make a big difference. Try replacing alcohol with healthier alternatives like fresh fruit juices, coconut water, or plain water. These drinks not only help you avoid the negative effects of alcohol, but also offer valuable nutrients to support your overall health. It's also essential to include more calcium and vitamin D in your daily meals. Incorporate foods like dairy products, salmon, almonds, and leafy green vegetables to help maintain strong bones and prevent damage. And don't forget the power of movement. Light exercises like walking, yoga, or low-impact aerobics can help keep your bones flexible and reduce the risk of osteoporosis. Start making changes today. Cutting back on alcohol and choosing healthier drinks can go a long way in protecting your bones. Don't wait until bone problems arise. Take action now to support strong, healthy bones for the years ahead. 5. Foods high in saturated fat. You've probably enjoyed delicious foods like red meat, fried snacks, deep-fried dishes, or rich cheeses. These foods are undeniably tempting and often play a central role in our meals. However, once we reach age 65 and beyond, it becomes increasingly important to pay attention to what we eat, especially when it comes to foods high in saturated fat. While these foods may offer a quick energy boost, they can have negative effects on bone health. Saturated fats can reduce the body's ability to absorb calcium, which is essential for strong bones. When calcium isn't properly absorbed from the foods we eat, the body compensates by pulling calcium from the bones to support other vital functions. Over time, this weakens the bones and increases the risk of fractures. Foods high in saturated fats also contribute to inflammation, which can worsen joint problems such as arthritis or chronic joint pain. Recent studies have shown that a diet rich in saturated fat may lower bone mineral density, increasing the risk of osteoporosis. Additionally, eating a lot of fried foods, fatty meats, and processed foods raises the risk of heart disease. And when heart health suffers, blood circulation to the bones can be impaired, making it harder for bones to rebuild and recover. I'd like to share the story of my friend Tom. He loved fried foods, especially fried chicken, cheeseburgers, and rich comfort foods. While Tom enjoyed every bite, by the time he reached 70, he began experiencing joint pain and stiffness in his back. After visiting his doctor, he learned that his diet, high in saturated fats, was contributing to inflammation and bone loss. Tom made the decision to change. He cut back on red meat and fried foods and began eating more omega-3 rich foods like salmon, chia seeds, and leafy greens. After a while, he felt stronger and his joint pain significantly improved. So how can you protect your bones while still enjoying tasty meals? The answer is simple. Limit your intake of foods high in saturated fat and replace them with healthier options. Choose lean meats, fish, nuts, legumes, and other foods low in saturated fat. Try steaming, baking, or boiling instead of frying. These cooking methods help preserve nutrients while cutting back on unhealthy fats. In addition, be sure to include more calcium and vitamin D in your daily diet. You can get these nutrients from milk, yogurt, almonds, chia seeds, and leafy greens. These foods not only support strong bones, but also help reduce inflammation, support joint health, and improve your overall quality of life. Remember, Changing your eating habits doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start with small, manageable steps. Replacing high saturated fat foods with healthier alternatives can go a long way toward protecting your bone health for the long run. Don't wait for problems to appear. Take action today to care for your body and keep your bones strong. 6. Foods containing oxalic acid, like spinach. You've probably heard of spinach, often celebrated as a superfood, rich in vitamin A, vitamin C, and iron. It's widely known for its many health benefits. However, what many people don't realize is that spinach also contains a high amount of oxalic acid. While spinach is undoubtedly nutritious, consuming too much of it, especially after age 65, can actually affect your bone health. Oxalic acid is a naturally occurring compound found in many plant-based foods, and it can interfere with your body's ability to absorb calcium. When you eat foods high in oxalic acid, your body can't absorb calcium as efficiently. That means even if you're eating calcium-rich foods, a high intake of oxalic acid could prevent your body from using that calcium properly, leaving your bones without the nutrients they need to stay strong. Over time, this can lead to weakened bones and an increased risk of fractures. In fact, health experts recommend limiting foods high in oxalic acid if you're trying to boost calcium intake and support bone health. While spinach has many nutritional benefits, relying too heavily on it without balancing it with other foods can lead to a calcium deficiency and raise the risk of osteoporosis. I'd like to share a story about my friend Carol, who is 68 years old. She loved spinach and included it in her meals daily after reading about its health benefits. But after a while, she began to feel joint pain and stiffness. When she went to the doctor, she learned that she was experiencing calcium loss, partly because she had been eating too many high oxalate foods without getting enough absorbable calcium. Carol made some changes. She reduced her spinach intake and added more kale, broccoli, and cabbage to her meals. These vegetables are lower in oxalic acid but rich in calcium and vitamin K, which helps strengthen bones. After a few weeks of adjusting her diet, she felt lighter, more energetic, and her joint pain noticeably decreased. So how can you protect your bones while still enjoying vegetables like spinach? The key is moderation. Limit your intake of high oxalate vegetables and make sure to get enough calcium from other sources. Incorporate calcium-rich vegetables like kale, broccoli, and cauliflower into your meals. These not only provide calcium, but also support overall health. Add foods like dairy products, almonds, and salmon to your diet to ensure you're getting enough calcium and vitamin D to support your bones. You can also reduce the oxalic acid in spinach by cooking it. Boiling spinach helps lower its oxalate content, making it easier for your body to absorb calcium. And always aim for a balanced, varied diet to support long-term bone health. Start making small changes today. Replace part of your high oxalate vegetable intake with calcium-rich greens, and be sure to include other calcium and vitamin D sources in your diet. These simple steps can help you feel stronger, support bone density, and stay active and flexible in your daily life. If you've made it this far, I believe you truly care about your health, and you absolutely have the power to take charge of aging with strength, vitality, and confidence. Leave a comment below saying, "I choose to protect my bones starting today," if you're ready to make changes right from your daily meals. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button so I know you're here with me, and click subscribe to keep receiving calm, simple, and meaningful tips each week to help you live healthier, live deeper, and live with more purpose. Wishing you a joyful day and a body that grows stronger, just like your willpower. I'll see you in the next video.